Hello, everyone, and welcome to the conclusion of the 2019 Texas State Championships. This is the first round coverage. I'm joined by Brian Earhart. I'm Paul Ulibarri.
What's up, everybody? We got some back nine coverage for you, and after the front nine, we have James at +1, Paul -1, Ricky at -4, decent start, and then Anthony Perkins at +2. Thoughts on the back nine of this course, Paul?
Yeah, it gets tough. That's for sure.
Good thoughts.
Yeah, this course is awesome because there's no easy part of the course. There's no, I was explaining it to somebody the other day that I love this course because you can get 5 in a row and be right back in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say AP goes on a nice streak here. He's +2. He gets 5 in a row. All of a sudden, he's back into the top 20 in the tournament. That's how hard this course is.
Absolutely.
So you're never out of it, but it can always get you. If you're a little bit off, as we've seen James and AP struggle, even myself.
In hole 10, 600 feet, you really don't have to bite too much off the tee. But as you can see with Ricky, he's trying to push it into the tree line, give himself some sort of shot. If you push it into a rough part of the tree line, you will have an obstructed upshot. So it looks like the best play, either what James is doing or what the rest of the card is doing, is just pushing it out into the fairway as far as you possibly can. And I think James does that to a tee. Huge wraith flex shot.
I like the little hop he did to get on the tee pad.
Oh, yeah. And he has maybe
Nice.
150-foot upshot to the green. And you're just going with a safe sidearm here. And I like this play a lot. It's simple. Maybe you have the difference between a fairway driver and a mid-range approach, but
Yeah, I kind of pulled it. I wanted to hug it tight, kind of like Rick did, and I just kind of tugged it a little bit, but luckily this fairway's pretty big.
exactly.
And AP with that he throws
Gorgeous.
that blue rock so well.
And that's the thing, instead of having a 150-foot upshot doing all that work off the tee like James did, he did something high percentage and gave himself a pretty open 300-foot shot. And here you are with a down-tempo Raptor. Beautiful shot. And I know you thought that was going to be out of bounds, but with how soft that landed, that was pretty much about as perfect as you could possibly be.
Yeah, so I was at a weird distance. As you see, like, AP kind of flips it up, and it pushes a little bit deeper than mine. Like, to have the control to be able to get the disc to run out of speed, especially with that, if you can see, there's a right to left crosswind. So if you throw something stable and it gets into that wind, easily skip and roll out of bounds. And so I definitely was a little bit worried, but
Ricky
from this
here.
camera angle, you can see how they're kind of landing softer into the green.
Oh, yeah. And Ricky fighting the crosswind with that forehand, which I prefer with my upshots as well. And James throwing the most technical one of them all, even though it's the shortest. Beautiful soft landing putter. This is a good birdie. We got OB behind the basket, OB in front of the basket.
Tough tee shot.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just really enjoy this course. Like, this one is probably, honestly, one of the easier birdies on the course.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult.
There's a great mix of West Coast, kind of like links style, lots of OB, a lot of strategic planning, and then you also have the East Coast style as well on some of the holes as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Beautiful birdie putt into the headwind. Still not a gimme from where you were at. The wind was definitely whipping. James, after a Goliath smash with that wraith, gets the easy birdie. And AP will settle for a par.
And now we're into hole 11, 394 feet. I mean, the difficult part about this hole is when we stepped up to the tee, we had a significant headwind. And as you can see to the left, if you're short of the green, easily can skip down that hill out of bounds. And then if you pull it to the right, there's a green that plays, right out about 400 feet. And you see Ricky, this is one of his more stable destroyers that he has. I know that he throws this a lot in those situations. And you can see he
got a little bit lucky on that one, to be honest with you. That's the tough part about this hole, is you have to land the flare soft. And it's one thing to land a drive soft, but having to land a flare softly, or a skip shot. And James looks like this one got away from him.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. See, so he actually outdrove the OB, so he'll have a putt up the hill. Super tough. I mean, It's funny because as we're saying it's windy, you guys are looking at the flag and it's not showing it really at all. But as you can see, my disc is jumping around right there. And luckily, I got kind of a noodle arm and I don't even have to worry about that out of bounds. So I tug that one trying to get that extra distance.
It's a good point you make, though. This course especially, and for any new players that are not as familiar with tournament play, if you're feeling wind off the tee, or maybe you're on the tee and you don't see wind, or you don't feel it, look at the flag on the basket to see what it's doing, or walk out to that opening in the fairway and check the wind as well, because it could be doing something strange. Nice little softy layup there.
Look at this guy.
AP with the reel. That is such a unique style of putt, but it looks so confident coming out of his hand. Beautiful.
What a baller.
And if he misses that putt, he's going right where James is going.
Man, AP ain't missing that putt. Not with those glasses on.
What stunner
baller.
shades.
Now, James, on the other hand, maybe needed a pair of sunglasses on that one. Ricky.
Beautiful birdie by Ricky. 394 feet into a headwind is still not a gimme by any means.
No.
Couple birdies, couple pars.
Yeah. No,
This one is one of the poster childs for what I was just talking about. Off the tee, you feel a different wind, and then you look up there, and the wind's doing something completely different. So this is one of those holes where it would make sense to walk up to the middle of the fairway and check out what the wind's doing. We have OB to the right, 425 feet uphill. What are you thinking out here, Paul?
this is a scary hole because it really is, because now you have like a weird crosswind. Ricky,
as
actually,
you can see,
Ricky actually on the tee was switching in between discs, and he chose the T-bird, and he chose wrong because the wind actually pushed him to the right. Like, the wind read was really bad. He didn't throw a bad shot. He was expecting that to lift, and it was a pretty good angle. And so then AP steps up here, and he yanks it straight out of bounds. And so now, you know, James and I are sitting here like,
what's up?
yeah, what do we do?
What do we do?
And I love what James decides to do with his play, to take it out way left and then kind of drag it in with that cross.
Try to force the crosswind to kind of shove it down.
If he messes up, he's still going to have a putt. And if he throws it perfect, he's going to be in the circle. It's beautiful. He just draws it up beautifully. I'm thinking kind of go straight at it. And instead, I just started laughing at myself because it was the worst shot I've ever thrown. But it was a bad mistake because I actually landed in bounds.
And you're still maybe, 50 feet away from the basket, but...
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, it was the right mistake.
Yeah.
But it was a big mistake in my mind.
AP with a beautiful shot. Nice 20-footer there.
And that's, it's great to be playing well, but one of the things you have to deal with is you don't get a win read from anybody else.
Nope.
Oof. Ooh, metal.
Ooh.
That's good for
That
me.
should count.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should count.
And see, no wind.
And then something weird. I'm not sure if that was just a high release from him or some sort of wind gust picked that up, but...
I think it was just a bit high for him. He really wanted it.
And that's what he said on the next tee pad. He said, I thought that was in 100%. So James, after going OB, unfortunately, is going to settle for a bogey, and you will tap in for your par. Are you the only par on the hole?
Well, sometimes you just pick up strokes playing super safe and it's kind of a veteran play. Just throw it left, lay it up. Don't be so aggressive. Oh, man.
After that nonsense, that was Paul's babbling. We're going to move on to hole 13. This is one of my favorite shot shapes in disc golf. You don't necessarily get to throw a overstable disc through that gap on the right side and flare it to the basket. The fairway kind of subtle dog legs to the left. So the players are going to have to throw again. Oh my. And we have a beautiful sermon from
Jesus.
Wow.
So I got terrified of this gap and I decided to throw a sidearm. I'm happy with it. I made the gap.
Out of the gap, easy three. And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't have to play the optimal shot off the tee. Like this. This is exactly what the fairway called for. Baby hyzer was something neutral.
That is so difficult, though.
Absolutely.
So right to the right of the, as we can see this FollowFlight, right there on that tree, to the left of the camera angle is out of bounds. You hit that and you're out of bounds. So it's just such a difficult, it's a really fragile line. And he just
absolutely
really shows you how to do it.
AP kind of letting go a little bit early.
Yeah, there's a fairway to the right there, and he actually almost made it all the way to that fairway.
James, I think, is going TL3 here after that beautiful sermon he gave. And another early release. This is one of those hyzers that you have to shove your hips forward and push the disc forward before it starts fading.
Yeah, I mean, it's an early release, but he missed by a foot.
Exactly.
You know, it wasn't like this crazy miss that he did. He missed by a foot, and that's how hard that hole is. Like, you have to be perfect.
And that's why I think is interesting about this course is now it's like we're in North Carolina.
Yep.
You know, we're out there in the golf course, and now we're in a completely different section with different terrain. So I think it does challenge a lot of different elements of a player's game.
AP just knocking trees down, limbs down, whatever you got to do.
Just brute disc golf.
Just, no problem.
Gorgeous putt.
And now, on to hole 14, par 3, 363 feet. Interesting hole. So you have this left gap where you can play kind of a flex line as a righty, and it kind of opens up the fairway. Then you got to beat those two trees on the right to kind of subtly go into the green. Or there's a really soft hyzer flip to the right that you can kind of squeeze it up there into the green. I think everybody's actually going to take this left gap, though.
Because the moment you hit the angle, you're free.
Yep.
Maybe you're not parked, maybe you're not in circle one, but like Ricky, he didn't get the full flex line, but he still has a putt to the basket.
Right.
So I think that's the higher percentage shot if you can throw that type of flex. And I think you're going with a Nuke OS, correct?
Yeah.
Didn't get on it enough, but obviously it is a Nuke OS.
It's impossible to get on this disc.
It's
I don't
impossible.
even know why.
It's actually impossible.
It's so stable.
But you're still
Yeah,
35
I'm
from the
happy with
basket.
it.
Solid.
I mean, this is a tough gap to hit.
Unless you're this guy. And like we've said, this is his shot.
Yep.
Nose up, baby flex, and that's what he's been begging to throw all around, and he parks it.
And that's the mistake you're gonna see is too much turn. And once you get over on a disc like that, the way that your arm's swinging for that angle is gonna put more torque on the disc, and you either have to have a super stable disc or a mistake like James just made. It's not gonna have enough time to fight back.
Put a little bit too much velocity into the disc and didn't let it come out.
I'm not sure that he has a stable enough disc for that shot just because of the way that he throws. James, I've never seen him like pull out just a really
Maybe
stable
that
disc.
gator that he has.
Yeah, exactly.
Ricky from a decent distance.
And you can see this wind, man. It's swirling, and it's just got everybody a little bit uncomfortable.
Ricky from about 25. Definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit left, and these baskets don't like left. They like what AP gives it. Center.
Nice soft.
Center. Such a good birdie.
Great birdie.
Not James. Sorry, guys.
Not James.
AP. Decent par for James.
And that's what I like about this course is it's not rewarding, chucking your most overstable disc on a hyzer. You have to shape shots when you're in the woods here. And this is another one of those holes where you do kind of have to shape a shot or chance a favorable lie.
It says it's a par 3, but in all actuality, it's a par 4, 371 feet. There's nobody really going after this pin.
I think the only way that you could possibly get a 2 on this one is if you throw a monster flex righty forehand. There's a left gap here, but it really just feeds into the OB right. And I think he was actually going for it, but just threw it a little bit low and got a horrible bounce off some sort of root.
Yeah, so,
Not sure if he went OB, though.
So this is actually playing as the third hardest hole in the course.
To par.
And to the field, I mean, it's, yeah, there's, as far as twos on this go,
Not many.
none. A lot of threes.
And this is what I'm saying here about this hole, chancing a favorable lie. When you throw a driver off the tee hard like that, you're chancing the disc hitting that hill and hopefully rolling back into the fairway. And it looks like you both, you and James both got that. And then Ricky playing the other par 4 style drive, throwing his AVR again right in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, just no birdies on the hole on the day, and then a handful of fives and a bunch of fours, and then a lot of threes, which is actually interesting. I didn't expect to see as many threes as I did.
Yeah.
Because it's such a demanding tee shot. Like
Absolutely. Beautiful shot from Ricky.
Yeah, from the first camera angle, it looked a little high and leaking right, but pretty good.
This is you with, again, the root beer float zone. Yanked it a little bit.
Yeah, not my best effort there, but I just want to stay away from that OB left, you know.
Exactly.
Earlier in the round, I had actually not put enough on it, and I leaked it right, and it ended up giving me a bogey, so.
James with the weird footing. Kind of messed with his weight shift a little bit, it looked like, but still 25 from the basket and AP from about 35. Beautiful.
Yep.
And they call that a par, but really, if you're getting a 2 on this hole, I would call that an eagle for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big-time bonus.
Just snuck it in there.
Yeah, not.
Nice textbook birdie, in my mind.
Bogey from AP there. And that's the thing, you don't get off the tee, probably taking bogey.
And then we are headed back out into the open, back to golf course style, hole 16, 678. I love this hole, actually. I think there's a couple interesting strategic points off the tee. Would you mind kind of going into that?
Yeah, so there's OB right, and that really isn't going to come into play unless you completely yank or turn over a drive, and especially because the fairway kind of plays to the right. The further right you throw with distance, the more wide open you're gonna have. That's what I've noticed. And even my shot here, nose up, kind of garbage, and it's going way left. There's no really OB left, and I'm actually going to have a shot into the green, even with that bad of a tee
Exactly.
shot.
So, and then it gives you, instead of having to play low ceiling underneath those branches, you're able to go straight to the basket. And James just trying to park it. Gets a little bit nose up, so it doesn't quite get the full flex out, but again, being left on this hole is very good, and now he has a wide open approach to the basket. So it's one of those things where the fairway tricks you.
Yep.
Where those look like poor shots, but actually they give you a better angle to the basket. And Ricky is following suit.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful shot. That's probably a distance driver, you think, right?
Yeah, definitely distance driver, and he ends up just right in front of James there. And here's the play where it's going to be interesting to see after this lands, to see what he has into the green, especially from that camera angle, because I was on the other side of the fairway. I didn't really get to see his approach. But I'm wondering what that... Oh, we don't get to see him throw. Or does he go after me?
And you're going with that pink pop top force.
Yeah, very stable.
Beautiful flare.
Yeah,
And there's really no danger there.
No, just you can't go right. As you see up kind of close to the basket, there's out of bounds left. And
There's a little flick
see how
flex.
he has to kind of get it wider to get under those branches, though? Like,
Still doable, but...
yeah. I mean, he threw a great shot, but that was very, very flexy as well.
This is James' money range.
Yeah, and see, if James is way right, he can't throw putter up shot.
Exactly.
Because he has to go under those limbs, and putters need height. And so by going left, he has just a wide open, no problem.
Exactly.
No problem up shot.
Ricky with a soft landing forehand hits the pin. And the point I was going to make earlier with Ricky's drive, the thing that some of these top backhand throwers do, he was throwing a distance driver off the tee, but he made it look like it was a mid-range or a fairway driver. They're throwing with so much spin and so much control that the disc can still land soft. They're landing these distance drives soft 400 plus feet away.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, good one to get. I mean, any birdie out here is a good one to get, and I've kind of cleaned the back nine up a bit. I don't have any bogeys, but I'm still lacking in the birdie category.
You also don't have any twos or fours. Only threes so far, it looks like.
Yeah, that's interesting, too.
Another birdie from Ricky.
And now we'll go into hole 17, and this is one of my favorite holes on the course. Par 4, 656 feet. 200 meters. I want to say that just because it's an even 200 meters. That's awesome.
And really, you can throw as far as you want off the tee, but it's another one of those par 4s where you don't necessarily have to be right. You don't have to throw the big distance flex turnover that the fairway is inviting you to throw. If you're on the middle section or the left section of the fairway, you actually have a pretty open shot to the basket, and this is, I think, the perfect drive for the hole. Big flex, full flight from the Kong, right in the middle of the fairway.
Right, and I didn't throw that like 100% just so I knew it wasn't going to kind of leak to the right. And another thing that we could mention is it looks kind of wide open to the right of those trees as well, but there's a Mando that's kind of keeping us kind of to the left side of that fairway. And this is just a mammoth.
And this is a 11-speed disc, folks. He's not throwing his fastest disc. That was a beautiful controlled distance shot from James.
Wow.
Now he has, again, bread and butter range for him, 150, 200 feet.
Yeah, and so this upshot's interesting because you get into position and then you have, 250 feet into almost island-esque green, which is really nice. You have to have a nice speed control. AP turning this over, and this looks money.
And again, that's his shot. It's a beautiful drive. Left side of the fairway is totally fine. Now you're going kind of more straight at the basket. You're not having to clear the water.
Yep. The only thing is he might have landed in that ditch, which is a little bit kind of goofy footing is all.
Ricky going, ooh.
And out of his hand, I thought that was going to be in the water just because of the wind. I thought it was going to drop, but it actually held up and had nice ground play as well.
AP put a little bit too much flex on it. I think he's going to be about, he's
in bounds, but
about 60, 50 from the basket.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to be a little bit closer, but it's a tough read from out there. I know I was switching in between my discs, not really knowing how far it was.
Well, that's the thing with the flex forehand with a left to right crosswind too. If you put too much flex on that sidearm, the crosswind's going to shove you forward like it happened to AP. You put a Raptor after making the adjustment, put it right next to the basket, which is beautiful.
Right, the Raptor can really land soft. If you get it high up into that kind of wind, it won't land and have a lot of ground play. It'll kind of just be like a,
awesome.
It's a little bit softer.
AP looks like he was kind of running it, but thank God he was in bounds on that one. Now, this is a tough putt for Ricky, and like you were mentioning, this is a tough putt for the way he throws the disc. And he makes a great adjustment.
Yeah, because as a push putter, if he throws that and exposes that right side of the putter to the wind, it can lift him even in that tailwind, And then he putts so hard that could be dangerous, and so this is ripping into James's face right there, and
that's one of the tougher putts you could make.
Yeah, that's a lot tougher than he made it look.
And even this one for you, this 20-footer here into the headwind is still challenging. You definitely have to slow down a little bit and pop the disc a little bit more than you normally would. No problem.
Yeah, I wish he could be in my mind right there because I was like, there's just probably no way I make this.
It's a good mindset to have, definitely.
Yeah, well,
Low expectations. AP nailing the putt, taking the safe par. And we're moving into the 18th hole. This one, probably one of the easier par 3s on the course, I would say, at least from the tee shot. Throw hard, flat to fade. All these guys have 400 plus feet of power, so they're just going to drive one into the hill, and hope that you don't hit this one single pine and catch a roll.
Right.
I know James came up to me and said that he was trying to ace this to finish the round, so we'll see what happens. You go a little bit high, but I think we did have a tailwind. Was that correct?
Yeah, I wanted to ace it.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
25 left of the basket, not too shabby. James, I think, going with a Thunderbird.
He goes kind of right at it. I like that.
He was trying to go straight at it and still gets a nice play on it, but again, he was high enough on the hill that he did get a slide to the top.
That's a tough putt down the hill. Yeah. Ricky throwing that really, really stable destroyer. I'm saying it's a destroyer. It could be an Excalibur or something, but I'm pretty sure it's a
tough lie with the one ditch on the hill that he landed in, and then AP with a beautiful adjustment on that.
Yeah, it gave him some crazy wind action there, up and down. And here's James. So he's putting downhill at this in a headwind. Super difficult to control that nose, and just doesn't get it
unfavorable.
Low. Yeah, it doesn't get it low enough. You're almost aiming at the pole, the bottom of the pole, to make that putt.
That is a relief.
Yeah, good way to finish for sure.
Especially sneaking it in
solid
like that.
8 under. I mean,
oh yeah.
Once you get past that 5 under mark, you're feeling good. And this is for me to get to that 5 under.
And another weak side miss.
Yeah, I was weak the whole round. It was just. Yeah, see, I just let everybody know. James with a good comeback.
Absolutely. It's definitely a fun course to commentate on. There's just so much variety off the tee and so many different shots and situations. As we finish up on 18, we have Ricky finishing at 8, Paul finishing at 4, James with the 1 down, and then AP. Oh. And it looked like he kind of rushed that one.
Yeah, there's not much to say about that. I mean, he just missed it. He should have made it. He didn't. But that's it. That's it for the first round coverage. And that was absolutely phenomenal to watch. I mean, what a good course. The play was awesome. Ricky made a lot of great shots. AP, local boy. Looks like we're going to have Alex, Russell, Wysocki, Risley, and Mirweed for the second round coverage. Join us then, guys. Thank you so much to Discraft for sponsoring the event.
Absolutely. Yeah, tune in for round 2 coverage coming soon.